Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started, and I'm going to call the September 14th, 2016 zoning meeting to order. I ask that you either have a seat or exit the chambers if you want to continue to talk. All right, that's fine. Please note for the record that all commissioners are present except for Mr. Dudley, who's out of state, and we will introduce the zoning staff.
Patrice Johnson, zoning secretary.
Cody Morton, attorney for the Zoning Commission.
Lance Brock, zoning official, Ascension Parish.
Jerome Fournier, Director of Planning and Development.
Eric Poche, Parish Planner.
All right, for item number 3 on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the August 10th, 2016 meeting. Can I get a motion on that?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bishop, second by Mr. Foster. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. All right, item 5, A, public hearing to amend the Ascension Parish Development Code for recommendation for approval or denial to the Ascension Parish Council. 5A, zoning review ID PZ 1074.16, lot C1A, C1B, and C1C for Kenny Rentals LLC. Somebody here to speak on that? Oh, come forward, please.
I'm Carolyn Keller. I'm part owner of 3 acres that's adjacent to the property by Total Safety that's wanting the rezoning from crossroad commercial to medium industrial. That's what we're talking about?
Man, I don't think she's the applicant. I think
Yeah, no, I would, yeah,
No.
I'm sorry. I was looking for the applicant who, okay, I'm sorry. Ma'am, we're gonna have a public hearing on this, and I'll let you
Okay.
be heard on that, but I want to hear from the applicant first. Give me, yes, sir. No problem. Come forward, please.
I'm Gene Elazar with Alvin Fairburn and Associates. I'm here tonight for the rezoning of 3.59 acres located on the east side of Hodgson Road. Currently, Total Safety, a commercial facility, is located on the property, and they would like to complete upgrades to their facility. Several years ago, similar improvements were completed at this site, and at that time, the improvements were permitted with the understanding that any future facility improvements would be required rezoning of the property, which is the reason for this request. This rezoning application was submitted to allow for the expansion of the existing Total Safety facility. The proposed improvements include eliminating several temporary buildings, constructing additions to the existing permanent buildings in the front of the property, and paving a large portion of the existing limestone parking lot. After reviewing the Parish Development Code and the activities which currently occur on the site, medium density was determined to be the most fitting zoning classification for this property, and we hereby request your approval on this application.
All right. Staff, Mr. Brock?
Yes, sir. Staff recommends to deny the medium industry as requested. The current use is non-conforming and is allowed to continue at this location. There are standards for non-conforming uses. Amending the code to medium industry would and could allow many uses that are not compatible or desirable to the area. So the recommendation is to deny.
Can they still do their improvements if they stay as a non-conforming use?
No, sir. He stated before, basically, their standards with non-conforming, meaning how much they can expand based on the non-conforming and the excess value of the building. All those things has taken place throughout this to this time. So he's pretty much at this time maxed out, I guess, with his non-conforming.
If I may, Lance, I mean, are you proposing to make these buildings larger?
Right, we are adding to the front of one of the building, and we're adding like a shed to the back of one.
And then the other thing is you want to pave the limestone parking lot.
Correct, yes, sir.
So the expansion of the buildings, they've already exercised those privileges, so they can't do that anymore under the code.
Correct.
So, you know, the only thing you could do is pave, but you're not going to pave it unless you can get the building larger, right?
Oh, correct, yeah, the paving in the front was part of the expansion.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this. I know one lady would like to speak. Come forward, ma'am. Have you filled out a card?
Yes, she did.
Who is it, Patrice?
Carolyn Keller.
Ms. Keller? Okay.
Yes. I'm a lifelong resident of Ascension Parish. My family or myself have owned property in that specific area since 1946. I'm a part owner of 3 acres that are adjacent to this property. And besides myself, there are 4 other family members that have homes within 2 or 3 acres of this property. I'm against it being zoned industrial, medium industrial, because of the uses that'll be allowed. Also, there's a daycare center that's adjacent to this property, Baby Your Baby Child Care, which was the old Willis Child Care. And some of the items, I was looking at your, got it off your website, of uses that would be allowed are bulk material storage, concrete mixing, rail terminals, unenclosed automobile or heavy equipment storage, which I guess that's a junkyard, wrecking and salvage yards, truck stops, dirt pits, truck terminals and storage yards, exterminating, fumigating, septic tank pumping, and furnace cleaning. And I just want to say that I don't want that next to my house.
Where's your house, ma'am?
Well, I have part owner of the 3 acres adjacent to the property. I live on Bauman Street, which is behind Tommy Kenny's house, if you know where that is.
Yeah, okay.
I have 2 sons that live there, my
Okay.
mother, my sister, and my brother.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Has anybody else signed up to speak on this?
Yes, sir.
Councilman Dawson?
Thank you, and this is in my district, and I appreciate the staff, recommending denial, because I also don't think this fits in the neighborhood. I mean, medium industrial, that's a stretch, and, I know that we don't have these buffer requirements, but we should, and we really shouldn't be putting a medium industrial in a residential area, so thank you.
Hi, John Cagney, Councilman, District 10. This is not in my district. However, I have received phone calls from constituents. I'm right across Highway 30 from this area, and they're voicing the same complaint or concerns. Medium industrial allows for quite a lot. You can blend chemicals. You can do things that you just can't do with the current zoning that they have. So I agree with the recommendation of the zoning group. Thank you.
Anybody?
He spoke on the last one. People may have signed it.
Anybody else? All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on this. Do any of the commissioners have any comments or questions?
I have a question to staff. Just to make full disclosure, my kids, when they were much younger, they went to Willis, which is right down the street from here, and there was a dust problem then. I'm sure there's a dust problem today. Do we have anything in the ordinance to address that dust problem that comes out of that limestone parking lot with all those trucks?
Right offhand, I'm not sure, based on those uses being there prior to
Right.
zoning. But I can look and see, and I can contact them and see if there's still an issue. I haven't received any complaints or anything
Well, okay.
in reference to that at this time.
Yeah, they're here, and I view that as an opportunity to bite at the apple. And to me,
Oh, I see.
that apple has issues today that should be addressed if there's any way to address them. Whenever you guys want a motion, I'm prepared to give you one.
Does anybody have any other comments or questions?
Is there any sort of compromise that can be worked out that would allow them to do the upgrades they want to do without doing the rezoning that would then open up the property to all these
Other uses?
potential other uses that are the problem. As I understand it, that seems to be the problem, is you rezone, there's no restriction you can put on the rezone that, and so you open it up to the whole group. Is there some way to allow them to do the expansion they want to do, which I don't think, from what I've heard, seems to be objectionable, but without doing the rezone, that opens it up to the possibility of a junkyard and a concrete mixing station and that sort of thing?
Correct, yes. With that zoning district or designation that they are requesting, that's what's allowed in that district. There are other districts that could be. It just depends on if that district is going to allow the uses that he wants, that he wants to use for the property, because it really wouldn't do any good for him to rezone the property, and then he's still in the same situation that he's in right now. So to answer your question, I guess it's up to the applicant to know up front, to know that these uses would be, if it would have to be rezoned, to something else other than what it is for him to, in order for him to complete the development or complete the buildings on the property. Is there another district that it can possibly meet? Possibly, but the applicant actually looked at it and he stated that this is probably the best district or zoning classification for what he's planning to do with the property.
Do we have any ability to grant a variance to the non-conforming use to expand that?
No, sir, not that I'm aware of. No, sir, no.
Cody, do you know?
Not that I'm aware of either. I can look into it, but I don't believe.
And I would say, as a practical matter, we're not approved. We could only recommend to the council whether to approve the zoning rechange or not. And given the fact that the councilman from that district and the neighboring councilmen are here tonight speaking against it, I'm not sure if it's going to make that much of a difference what we do. But go ahead, sir. You can be
The
here.
only thing I want to say is that it doesn't matter to us what the zoning is changed to. You understand what the improvements we want to make to it, and we're looking at the chart that's in the code book, and this is really the only thing we could pick that we meet. One was office activity, and it has an office, and the other one was outdoor storage yard. Well, if you have an office and you have an outdoor storage yard, this is your only choice. That's why we picked it.
And I think the problem comes up with is that if the zoning gets changed to allow your expansion, and even though you're not going to do anything different, that doesn't mean that 5 years from now
Correct.
you can sell
Absolutely
the property
correct.
and the new landowner comes in
Right.
and does something completely different.
Right.
And
Oh, no,
puts-
I understand.
That's the struggle I think that we're dealing with here. And I think what the questions have been is how do we allow you to expand without
Right.
changing the zoning that much?
Right. And again, we picked this zoning just because this is the only one we thought fit our need, but it doesn't matter what the zoning is to us.
All right. Any more comments from the commission? Mr. Dumas,
Well,
since you're volunteering.
Well, the proposed zoning district is entirely incompatible with surrounding land use, and it would permit uses that would absolutely be detrimental to the surrounding uses. So I'm going to make a motion to recommend to the parish council that they deny the rezoning.
We have a motion. Second? Well, he moved. Your second. Moved by Mr. Dumas, second by Mr. Christie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? No opposition. The request is denied. So, staff report?
No report.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
By Mr. Chasson. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.